welcome everyone. Welcome to this next episode of the podcast. I am joined by Charlotte from Pet Business Support. Welcome, Charlotte. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. You enjoying being married?
Yeah, I mean, loads of people ask me about this, right? And I'm like, it feels no different, like nothing at all. It's just so strange that I was like expecting something that just didn't happen. So yeah, loving it.
People are like, that's a strange question, isn't it? But if they follow you on social media, they'll see that you went out to Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. We had a lovely time in Vegas. No, it was incredible. So yeah, we were supposed to get married here, but I was like, the stress and the sort of getting it all together and the formalities. I was like, this is not me at all. Get me to Vegas.
Did many friends and family follow you, or was it just
It
you and
was
your?
It was immediate family. So we had like my mum and dad, his dad, there's just a few of us, but it was really, really nice. And we got married in the evening, 5 o'clock in the evening, and then we went to have pizza afterwards. So it was just like really, really chill.
Excellent, love that, love that. Everyone's doing a little bit quirky weddings these days. I think it's the thing to do, isn't it? So you run Pet Business Support. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the business and how you help pet professionals. If people don't know who you are.
Course, yeah. So if you don't know who I am, I'm a social media manager and coach for pet businesses. I work predominantly with dog trainers, groomers, walkers. It's usually dog businesses I help more than the other parts of the industry. I started it 4 years ago. I started as a VA, virtual assistant, and then I sort of fell in love with the social media side, and I've done that ever since. In October 2023, I started a membership because I've run out of room to basically help people on a one-to-one basis. And that membership, as of today, has 230 members in it. So, yeah, I'm just passionate about all things dogs and all things social media.
Awesome, isn't it? I remember. I do love social media. It has its pros and its cons, and it has its downsides, and we have to sort of keep our boundaries and our mindset in place at times. But I do love social media, and I don't know if it's because I love the interaction, or I love people like liking my posts and commenting. But I also love the fact that it's a great way to get out there and help people, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it's still massively underutilized for the ways that it can be used. And like you were saying there, is that you have to protect your energy, just like we have to protect our energy in multiple parts of our businesses. But done correctly, social media now allows you to have like a really cool community of people who absolutely love you and your business. So I've seen some really nice like stories come out of using purely social media for businesses and having that relationship with people and them going, I absolutely love what Brenda does, and I feel like I know them on a personal basis. Never met them in my life, but we
Yeah.
have that relationship, and I think it opens so many doors, especially within the industry, to like collaborate with other businesses and show off the good and bad side of running your own business. And yeah, I just genuinely think it's massively underutilized still to this day.
Yeah, I remember when I was in the police, a social media person, very similar to you, Zoe Carnes.
Mm.
She used to run little workshops near us, and I was helping my wife with our grooming business. And before a late shift, I would go to her free workshop, and I remember just sitting there watching her, going, "I can't believe you've got this. You're running this business. You're earning this income. You're just by teaching people social media." I just sat there thinking how life has just changed, how the workplace has changed, and how social media has completely revolutionized the world of work and how we reach our customers. And how I was like fascinated at how she earned her living teaching people this sort of stuff. It's amazing, isn't it?
Insane. And now we've even got a next level up where you have people who do what I do, but then you also have people whose entire job is community manager. So the
Mm.
only thing, they don't do content, they don't do posting, they do nothing aside engage communities. Like brands have these people now whose literal job is to respond to comments. It's insane that what we've got nowadays when it comes to social media.
Yeah, I go and see my dad. My mum and dad live in France, and I go and see them, and obviously I talk about my business, and they're so like they find it incredible what I do and the people I reach. And I don't know if your parents are the same or your family are the same, and they're like, You do what? You sit there, you talk to people on the internet and you earn a living from that? It's like my dad can't get his head around it.
They can't, and what I find is as well, and you probably get the same thing, the fact that you do this to like a niche audience as well. So I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, I work with dog groomers, trainers, walkers, and people are like, that's it. You have a business where, and I'm like, yes, like this is the power of niching as well. It's just unbelievable. But yeah, lots of people still don't completely understand what I do, and I still get like messages to this day, and it's like, can you help me with my website? And I'm like, I am not the person to be asked for website stuff. But yeah, absolutely, it's amazing now what jobs you can have without even knowing, the niche or whatever that you're going into, and just having a go, just giving it a go.
Yeah, how did you find the pet industry? What made you settle on the pet industry as your niche business?
I've always been around dogs like my entire life. So I've used to work gun dogs. I still do a little bit now. I've shown at crafts. I used to, when I was like 16, 17, I had a business as a dog walker, like literally around college. And then I was a bather and a groomer. So I've always been around the industry. And then the reason I started this was I was an assistant manager for a travel agency during COVID. COVID took my job, it shut the shop. So I
Mm.
went to university and I did business studies with marketing. At the time, I was helping my mum, who runs a membership for ladies who work dogs. Niche again, I know, but that completely works. And I was just helping her, and then people were like, "Can you help me too?" And I sort of fell into this niche without realizing. And by the time I finished the first year in university, I had a full time business. So I was like, I don't really need the outdated marketing tactics I'm being taught here. So I'm
Mm.
just going to cap this at year one. So yeah, I finished university that year and I've literally done this full time ever since in this industry.
Nice, nice. So you're always working in dogs. It's nice to have that experience that you've got when you're working with pet groomers. That you did that time run bathing dogs and understanding what the job was like.
Yeah, absolutely. And how to deal with the people and what makes great content. So yeah, I think for me, I've sat both sides of the fence. So yes, I'm coming at it from a social media perspective, but I've been in the salon and I've been, the dog walker. So I do know what it's like both sides.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a business now for 22 years, pet grooming, and I remember when Facebook started to first come out, and it became a thing, and I was very much into the Facebook, obviously going to the workshops and using it, and I'm an avid Facebook user and stuff, and I remember Emma was running her business with her father at the time, and I was like, oh, we could start a Facebook page for our business, and he was like, well, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know why we should. It's very difficult, though, isn't it, when you come up against this negativity, or maybe you've been running your business for a long time, and you're kind of what you like and you like what you know. It's hard to change. Do you find people are quite scared by social media?
I do. I still find it now. People are very resistant to change. And then what really makes this worse is then when the algorithm or something changes and people are like, see, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time. So, yeah, absolutely to this day, there's still, people who they've, like, I speak to groomers and they've got a Facebook page, but they never ever touch it. Like, they might post the odd post at Christmas time to say, make sure you booked in your Christmas groom, and that is it. That's all you're getting off them. So, there's definitely still the resistance there because I think people being scared of it because they don't know what to do with it. Whereas if you have like a set sort of strategy in your head and you know how you're going to use it, one of the things I come across all the time when I do like shows and things is I don't need social media. I'm super busy. And that makes me want to just run and headbutt a wall because I'm like, that is the time you should be doing social media. If you're that busy and you have all that great opportunity to talk about content, we think about it, and you see this all the time. We only have a short sort of shelf life really with a dog because unfortunately they pass away and then we need to fill that place. If we're using social media just to build a community, not to give it the pressure of only using it when I need to fill a space, we have this sort of waiting list or whatever you want to do, where the minute you talk about a spot, it's snapped up straight away because you have that community.
Yeah, it's adding value to your customers, isn't it? And when we went into lockdown, our mentor sort of said, right, get out onto socials, and we started a Facebook group for our customers, and we started to show them how to trim their dog's nails. And I was like, well, if we show them how to trim their dog's nails, they won't need us to do it anymore. And our mentor was like, no, they'll really love the fact that you're helping them. They'll try and trim their dog's nails and realize they can't, and they'll think you're amazing, and they'll come to you. So I think sometimes people just think social media is there for selling. sell, sell, sell all the time, but it's not.
It's when you have that attitude, that's when social media doesn't work for you. And people come to me when they're like desperate. They're like, I'm getting no clients whatsoever. I'm like really failing. You know, my business is going to go under. I need to start doing social media properly. And part of me thinks you're trying to shut the stable door when the horse is bolted, because there's no major turnaround. I don't know where this sort of ideas come from, that you do one social media post and then you get like 50 million clients landing
Yeah.
on your door. The thing is, if I put one leaflet through one door, I wouldn't get a million customers coming from it. So yeah, there is this pressure on socials to be like, you know, only for selling, like only when I have something to talk about. But actually, that is just part of a overall social media umbrella you should be doing. Like you were just talking there about, you know, nail trims. And I always talk, especially to groomers, about this, like the power of showing like maintenance tips, or, you know, what brush should I have for my dog, etc., etc. And then I get met with like, oh, I don't want to talk about these things because then they're not going to need me. And I'm like, that's the complete opposite. Like you just said there, that is the complete opposite of what's going to happen when you talk about these things. It's showing yourself, positioning yourself as an expert. And whether we like it or not, when we have a social media presence, we become an expert to people. So you'll find, like, you know, in the salon or whatever, people will still say to you, oh, what do you think of Frontline then? Or what should I be feeding my dog? And you're like, why are you asking me? But it's because they've got this idea now that because you do something with their dog, you have that sort of expertise. So yeah, using social media purely when you need customers is sort of a little bit too late. It should be something you're continuously doing throughout your business journey.
Yeah, and I sort of say to people like you're marketing for signals, not sales. So sort of telling them what you're doing and looking for interest, and then building on that interest. But also, you know, I want my clients, my dog grooming clients, to use social media to, like you said, like keep that community together and stop their clients looking elsewhere. You know, and also engaging with their clients so that they know that you're still open, you're still there, you're still got availability, you've still got appointments for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like loads of people get into that trap, and people now do judge really, really quickly. So if I see a business hasn't posted in like 4 weeks, I'm like, oh, they're shut. And I'm like, no, Charles, they might not be shut. Like they might just
Mm.
not post on socials. But we're so used to seeing things now on a like weekly and daily basis, almost hourly for some people, that when we're not seeing updates from certain businesses, immediately our mind goes, right, move on, you know. So it's not about, I never believe in posting every single day. Like that's nothing, something I would never push on to a client. However, I do believe maintaining a presence and, you know, doing like 3 or 4 updates a week is more than enough to satisfy that. I'm clicking off this now because you're obviously not open anymore, but also not take such a toll on your mental health, always having to do socials.
Is there a case of things being too often? If we post too much, can we perhaps turn clients off, or they just sort of scroll past because they're just seeing us all the time and they don't actually take notice of the posts?
Yeah, I find we can have a detrimental effect when we post too often. So you've this there's like a nice little happy medium with social. So what I find is if you're somebody who posts like 6 or 7 times a day, like say after every dog you're posting a photo of their groom, the algorithm is not going to know which one of those posts to push to people. So it's going to show it to the same like sort of people that it shows it to anyway. And because they've already seen 6 updates from you today, I'm sorry, they're not going to hit the like button anymore. Like they're just not. So the algorithm then thinks nobody's interested in this piece of content, and it narrows who it shows it to. So I would rather people do, like I said, 3 to 5 good quality posts a week than worry about chucking up a photo after every groom, because it's just not worth it from the algorithm perspective. But also our audience do get a bit like, oh, there they go again. Here's another photo. I don't want to see another one.
Yeah, yeah, and I suppose a lot of people are quite concerned out there about negativity and having people post negative comments on their posts or not liking their posts, because I suppose social media is a bit vain, isn't it? We're going out there trying to get likes and hearts and stuff like that, but we have to be open to the fact that not everyone's gonna like what we do, I suppose.
No, and that's the same whenever you know, having a conversation with people. But the way I look at it is, if my post helps one person today, I'm happy. So I don't. I know it sounds really stupid, right? But as a social media manager, I'm not. I don't care about followers and I don't care about likes. I care about you helping people and getting clients in ultimately. So for me, is have I helped one person today? And also, who is my post for? So if my post is for every other groomer, then yes, of course, I'm going to be super worried that I've said the wrong thing or what are the other groomers in the area going to think of me? But actually, we need to be posting for our ideal audience and our customer base. So if you know that telling them this certain brush is going to help them with their matted cockapoo, then that's the post you should be doing and you shouldn't be worrying about what other people think. It is hard, and it's hard to overcome that sort of like bridge between not worrying about what other people think, but also not being super controversial and just damn right annoying. Like there is a balance. But yeah, it's just thinking I'm not posting for other professionals. I'm posting right here to help my clients. And if I help one today, I'm going to be happy.
That's it. And I always sort of say, if you do get some negative pushback or some negative comments, a bit like reviews, it's like it's only one person's opinion. It's not, it's not everyone out there, but we have this negative bias, don't we? So when we do get that one bit of negativity, we focus on that rather than the positives.
We absolutely do. I did a free challenge 2 weeks ago for like 600 pet pros took part. It was amazing. And I sent out feedback forms and I had 60 responses. 59 of them were absolutely beautiful. One of them was telling me the fact that I did like little prize draws each night, and they were like, "You didn't do it live. You could have picked anybody as the winner." They were just little, little things, and it was like selling. I basically did a VIP upgrade so people could pay to keep the videos forever. Selling a VIP that's really tacky, and I was like, "This is like a personal attack." They didn't leave their name, of course they didn't, so I had no idea who it was. But you do, like we do hone in on stuff like that. And I was like, push the other 59 aside. Why are you going to show with me? So yeah, but you just look at it and go, well, the fact you've left this says more about you than it does me. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. And actually on my socials, I celebrated the lovely reviews. It's all well and good getting really trapped in your own head and feeling really negative about the one. But when you have so many other people saying how amazing you are and how much they can't wait to see you again and all the rest of it, it's a mindset thing, isn't it? It's switching your mindset and going, this is the more important thing to focus on.
Yeah, I have a form like that which was completed about 4 years ago, and it's very like, um, how can I help you with your business? And it's like, shut your business down because who are you to try and help anyone else? What do you know? And I periodically repost it into my group just for some shits and giggles, but you know, the spelling gets criticised every time. But actually, going on to like negative reviews, I actually do something with our pet grooming business. I do something a little bit different from what I see out in the norm. And when, as a business, A to Z Animal Care, when we receive a 1-star Google review, I actually take a picture of that and I go out to our audience on Facebook and say, look, hey, we share a lot of our positive reviews with you. We share our great pictures and everything's, we celebrate everything good, but there is sometimes ugly as well. And I actually post the 1-star review into the Facebook page and sort of talk about it and say, look, no one's perfect. We're not perfect. And sometimes the reviews, like you said, the reviews can be justified. And as a business, we can learn from the negative reviews that we get back. I know Daniel Priestley sort of says big companies pay a lot of money to have negative feedback or to have their businesses reviewed, and we're getting it for free by Google reviews. So I actually post our negative reviews out, and as a business, we talk about those negative reviews. And actually, it quite often generates a lot of love from the community, and we have actually seen some of the negative reviews taken off after we've done that. So
Yeah.
you've got to share the positives and the negatives, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm always big on this. Like I put that review, I didn't put it onto my main Facebook page. I put it into the group that I was doing with the challenge people because I wanted them to learn how to like sort of not combat negative feedback, but basically what you said there, everybody gets it. And it can feel when you're a business owner and you may be struggling, that 1-star review coming through could feel like the end of the world for you. It could just be the one thing that tips you over the edge. So I think it's important to know that everybody at every level gets it. But I think other than that, on socials, we forget that people share these wonderful parts of their life. Like everybody's doing amazing. And you look at, like grooming influencers and stuff, and they've got so many brand deals and they're doing so well. And I'm really real with my socials, and I'll tell you like when I'm struggling, and I'll also tell you when I'm doing really, really well. And I think it's having that balanced approach. And actually, people go, I'm worried about oversharing. I think, all right, there is a level you can have of oversharing on social media, but just talking to your customers and your clients like you would if they were your friends goes a long way. So, like what you do there with, the one-star review and putting it out to the community, I think it's a nice way for that community that you support so hugely to then support you back.
Yeah, yeah, it's sort of like it's the honest truth, isn't it? It's we can't please everyone, and we're not going to get on with everyone. And as business owners, we need to realize that we don't need everyone either.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we talked about in the challenge is actively repelling people who aren't your ideal audience. So this is more like trainer specific, but it comes over to groomers. Like if you are a certain type of groomer, so I don't know, holistic, force free, whatever, actively talking about that on your social media will repel more traditional sort of type of people. So I think it's important to realize, like what you said there, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And if we're realistic about it, why should you be? You know who you want as a customer. So doing posts to suit everybody, and I don't want to offend anybody, it but then makes the social media doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't grow because actually, how can an algorithm, which people always blame the algorithm, right? The algorithm is your customers deciding what gets out, your audience deciding what's get out. If they don't hit the like button, the algorithm says nobody likes this. So it's not Facebook sitting there going, that post today, I am not going to show to anybody. It's based on your customers. So if we are trying to please everybody, how on earth do our posts get out any further? They can't. It's impossible. So knowing that when you're doing your posts, having that one person in your mind that you go, that is for this person, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and this actually falls into a coaching call that I did on Monday with some of my clients, and so I really push my clients to get themselves out onto social media. And when I say get themselves out, like get the picture of themselves out onto social media. And when they join my program, like one of the first challenges is to do a little video into our private community, safe space. Get them used to being on camera and stuff like that. And I challenged one of my clients to get their face out there, and they're like, but I'm not. I don't feel I'm pretty enough. And I was like, right, let me just stop you there. I'm going to call bullshit on that because I put my face out there a lot, and that's certainly not a pretty sight. But I said, you've got to remove yourself from the business, And I love what you're saying about if you can just help one person. It's not about you. It's about the business, and it's about the business helping the client. So you've got to sort of remove yourself. It's not about me. It's not about whether I get likes. It's about helping other people, isn't it? And it's about your business helping other people. So removing ourselves from the business and our own personality, like our own personal feelings, is sort of the way to go, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I joke about this all the time, especially when I'm doing coaching calls. I'm like, people think I'm really vain because my face is everywhere, but actually, I know that a lot of my success is due to the fact my face is everywhere. And I'm a big believer in like I will do what I teach. Like you'll see me teach something, I do it myself. What I find happens when somebody shows their face, when somebody posts a selfie, when somebody posts a video, is they get this huge amount of love back and they get like inquiries. It was literally the challenge I did, it was one of the posts that I got them all to do was show their face.
Yeah.
And the inquiries that came off the back of it, the feedback, the reach was absolutely incredible. And people have the attitude of, yes, they know, who am I to show my face? Or people don't want to see my face, or I don't feel this, or I don't feel that. If we rely solely on our feelings to do anything in business, we don't really get as far as we want to, as we want to. It's sort of going, right, if I don't want to do it for myself, I'm doing it for the sake of my business. And sometimes that might be the spur that gets you to go in, is thinking, if this is going to get me more clients, I'll give it a go. But absolutely, I think it's just, we can get so bogged down, like we are talking about the negative reviews just then, so bogged down in like in our own heads about different things. Actually, pushing those feelings to one side and just having one go, like you said, one selfie, one video, just have a go once, and I promise you every single time it gets easier because you've done it once.
That's it. It's like feel the fear and do it anyway.
Anyway,
And
that's
I've
it.
been there. I've sent messages to people who I've invited onto the podcast, and I thought, they're never gonna never gonna read my message and stuff like that. And I've literally written the message and closed my eyes and pressed the send button, and then like amazingly a few minutes later, it's like, oh Bill, I'd love to do that, and I'm like, oh my god. And sometimes you just gotta like grit your teeth, write your post, take your photo, write your post, grit your teeth, close your eyes, press the button. And once it's done, it's done.
Exactly, and you never know what could come off the back of doing something like that, and it is right, it's like having that fear, doing it anyway, it's your big domino, so just going for it, and it's like, I actively encourage people in my community to collaborate with each other, like, you know, if you've got a business locally that complements yours, talk to them, like, have a conversation. "Oh, but it's a bit weird," and I'm like, "Yeah, but if you don't move first on this, if you don't move the needle, it's never gonna change," and I have this attitude, like a very much a bounce back attitude. If somebody says no, fine, I'll just move on. So it is hard, and I think a lot of factors, like, personally come into play when we talk about things like this, but if you don't know, you know, if you never try, you don't know, do you? That's ultimately what happens.
Yeah, and the the putting the photo out there is so important. I think we can reframe this a little bit, can't we? Because we're working with like our customers, the groomers that we work with, and your dog trainers also. They're working with people's animals, and surely they want to see who's going to be looking after their pets. And I kind of think, if we got a photo of our team out on our website and on our social media pages, when someone phones our dog grooming business, they speak to our receptionist Kim. Now, if they've been on our website, they've seen a photo of her. They've probably seen a photo of her on Facebook. All that, maybe that person making that phone call's got a bit of anxiety, but now they're listening to the person's voice on the phone. They've maybe got a picture of Kim in their head, or the first time they're visiting our salon, they see Kim, they're like, oh yeah, I recognize you. It kind of breaks down those barriers, doesn't it?
It does, and I think there's two, like, sort of two sides to this. Not only am I more likely if I can see somebody's face to get in contact with that business, because ultimately, even when I'm looking for stuff to do, you know, like handyman for the house or whatever, and I take it back, I was waiting once. I couldn't see this person's face on social media. I couldn't see anything about them, but they came highly recommended. The anxiety I had waiting for that van to turn up, I was like, is it that person? Is it that person? I was like, I just wish I knew what this person's face looked like so I had half a chance. Because you're like, are you Steve? I don't know who Steve is. So yeah, it's that side of thing. But ultimately now, because we are so used to, you think about it, like the big brands, Nike, Adidas, all these have people who are the faces of the brand, and they do that for a reason.
Mm.
People buy from people, people connect with people. So I am much more likely to pick the groomer where I can see their face quite often on their website, on their social media, on their profile photo, and their cover photo, wherever you want to put your face. I'm more likely to go with that person than some random logo made on Microsoft, I don't know, Paint back in 2003. It's never been touched since, and just some random photos of dogs. It's that thing, isn't it? It's, I'm gonna trust my dog, my baby, my life with you. The almost least we can do is make that slightly easier. Then when I turn up to the salon or I turn up to the venue, whatever, I go, right, that person is the person that I saw on socials. Here's my dog. I can't wait to see the end result.
Yeah, and you might feel like you've got a face for radio rather than you've got for TV, but I think if you're listening to this, you've just got to trust us as like professionals and trust the process and give it a go. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know the difference it's going to make until you try it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I think I'm like quite a tough love person, and as I've never pushed anything to do somebody to do anything they don't want to do. But if you're serious about growing your business and you want social media to be the platform you do it on, nowadays there is no real way about like getting around showing your face. And I see like business coaches post about, they're like, you'll have marketing gurus saying the only way you can grow is having your face in things. And I'm like, yeah, and I'll stick to
Mm.
that word because
Yeah.
ultimately we need to connect with people. We are people. That connection is always there. So yes, try one post, try one selfie. Don't have to do it every single day. In fact, I wouldn't encourage you to do it every single day. But just doing regular updates with a pic of you with a dog, a pic of you with your new shampoo, whatever that looks like, just so I see your face often.
Yeah, that's it. And when we sort of think about the big brands, they always say like Richard Branson's personal brand is bigger than Virgin, sort of thing,
Yes.
and the same for Apple and that. People buy into people. So I think we've laboured this point. Get your face out there.
Literally, yeah, and I think just ending on like that point, personal branding now, the power of it is crazy. Like a personal branding should be like one of your key, we talk about pillars, educational content, blah blah blah. there should be time in your social media strategy to talk about yourself. And it sounds really vain, but honestly, nowadays we need that connection with people because we talk less and less to people in person. Let's be honest, we do now. So how do we get those updates from you? It's when you do a nice post about, your time in France with your parents, or when I do a post about what I'm up to with the dogs. It's got absolutely zilch to do with business. It's just a nice little update. This is what I'm up to.
Yeah, yeah, like, we all knew you went out to Vegas and got married, and something for us to talk about and celebrate when we meet up and stuff. So, yeah, it's all about getting to know you, know, like, and trust, which we talk about a lot. So, going back to like customers and my clients and using Facebook and stuff, something that I sort of say is, so we've got our picture of ourselves and it's get to know the groomer or meet the groomer post, and we put it out. Like putting that out once a year, again, that's not good enough. We can't be lazy and just go, well, I've put it out on Facebook, so everyone must know about it. We're talking about algorithms. Fa- Facebook must deal with, God knows, like millions of posts a minute. You can't just assume that, as if you've put it out on Facebook, all your customers have seen it, because it's not right, is it?
No, it's something like it lowers, like the more and more accounts that go on Facebook, the more this lowers, but it's something like 3 to 10% of your audience now see your content. So if you think everybody's seen that one post,
Mm.
they don't. So I think it's important, even when we talk about like tips, right? People have it in their heads, oh, well, I've already spoken about that once before. And I'm like, yeah, and you've already created the content, so just repost it, repurpose it. All the time, people are trying to come up with new ideas, new things. And for the unfortunate truth is, every idea you've had, somebody's already done before. So everybody's like, I'm afraid of copying. You're not copying, you're doing your own version of it. So yeah, it's you really can't assume just because you posted on socials that everybody's seen it. And if you're doing like email marketing, you can't assume because you've posted about it once or sent an email about it once, everybody's read it. Because if you look at your open rate, like 30% do. So yeah, just knowing that posting something once is a waste, really. You've already done the content. Reuse it. Save yourself a job in 3 months' time.
Yeah, repurposing. And again, yeah, I was talking to a client the other day, and she's very hot on email marketing. And I sort of just said to her, you could probably go back to last year's emails, rejig, repurpose, and send them out again. And just regurgitate. You've got new people on your list that's not seen those emails. So again, I sort of I speak to groomers, and they say, "Oh, I've got the Emmy Pet toothbrush, but no one's interested. No one wants it." I put a post out in February, and I'm talking to them, I'm scrolling through their Facebook page, and I'm like, yeah, you put one post out, it's not enough. It's not enough engagement on that.
No, absolutely. And you think about like, let's talk about, I don't know, Asda release a product or Tesco release a product or whatever. There's a whole strategy they have. They don't just go, oh, Prosecco's on offer, like there, you can go and get it if you want. There's adverts, there's the things in the shop, they put it by the tills. There's all these touch points. And if we talk about like Facebook ads, for example, us as we think we are like the businesses on Facebook, but actually we're all the consumers on Facebook. It's the people who run ads that are the business that Facebook really actually cares about, to be honest. We have like 10,000 data touch points on each person. So if we have that many touch points, you think your one post about Amy Pet is going to touch all those data points. It's not. So yeah, it's about having your core messages. And I think if you take anything away from this conversation today, it's thinking about what do you want to be known for? Yes, okay, you're a dog groomer. That's absolutely fine. But there will be elements of that you do differently to other people. Your unique selling points, your things that make you stand out. How often are you talking about those things? Because I can guarantee, like, if I'd look at the majority of people who are listening to this, they don't talk about it enough. And then they get really bogged down and say social media doesn't work. It's not, it doesn't work. It does work. It works fine every single day. It's just that you haven't repeated yourself or you haven't done it in a way that's engaging. Lots of people just think chucking up a photo of a dog with a name is enough to make people stop the scroll. It's not. Like we need a bit more substance to our posts.
It is. It is such a powerful tool, and maybe it would probably freak us out if we really understood how powerful Facebook is and how much it knows about us. As I said previous, I used to be in the police, and the mentor that I signed up with, he helps police serving and ex-serving police officers, and he literally targets them through Facebook ads. Now, police offices the way they are, they're very secretive on Facebook. Obviously, they don't want the community know, but he still got me. He still found me, and he still finds loads of people through targeted ads using demographics and keywords and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So Facebook knows so much about people, and it's down to us as business owners to unlock that knowledge, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think, it can be a really clever tool, and everybody, like, you talk to people, and you probably see this a lot. I boosted a post once, I chucked 20 quid on it, got me no new clients,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, because boosting a post, it doesn't know who is boosted it to. Like, there's no, we haven't done any work. All we've done is given Facebook 20 quid and gone, good luck. Like, there's no strategy to that. So yeah, from an ad perspective, you can, like, I don't do ads, so I find it all very, very technical. I'm more like pretty marketing. That's more like serious data marketing. That type of marketing, but when you have somebody do it for you, or you understand it in and out, can be like a money tap. Like, it can be so, so good for you. Somebody, even for me, I brought in somebody to help me with ads for my challenge, because I knew I wouldn't reach the audience size I wanted to organically on socials. And that's how I managed to bring so many people, new people, into my world, was by those ads. So yes, every time you click allow cookies on a website, believe it or not, when you're on the grooming product websites, that's how Facebook gets to know what you like to see. So yeah, I think ads have their place. It's really, really clever. But that's why you're boosting posts with 20 quid. It's just not doing anything. It's because it has no glue.
Yeah, I was blown away when I did a lesson, and I learned that, if you took your email list, and yes, groomers, you need to collect people's emails. It's important. You might not know what to do with them, but start collecting them as soon as possible. But if you put all of those email addresses into your Facebook page, into your Facebook ads, Facebook will create like target audiences, copycat audiences. It will look at their friend bases and all sorts of stuff like that. It is absolutely mind blowing. But like you said, it's a very complex area. And again, I don't do Facebook ads. I sort of outsource that to other people to teach my clients about it.
Yeah, it's a whole world onto itself, and it's another level. And I think it's something that you sort of have to have like strategy and budget for. So you will waste money inevitably on ads if you don't understand enough about them. And it is a way, people go, oh, it's just a way of Facebook making money. Well, of course it is. Like, Facebook wouldn't exist without the ad side of things. But ads can be really clever, and you're right. Lookalike audiences and things like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where people will then, like, they'll listen to this and they'll jump straight onto ads. What I would say is just like focus, like have your focus and go, if I take anything away from this podcast today, it's put my face on Facebook, and just get Facebook to a level where you're happy with it. Then start incorporating ads, then start incorporating other platforms if you want, because people will inevitably get the motivation. They rush to do things, they half do them, and then they're like, it doesn't work. But actually, just focus on one thing.
Yeah, and people might be like shouting at the radio, at the podcast at the moment, going, "But how do I keep up with these blimmin' algorithms?" One minute my business is doing really well on Facebook, and then next minute it's like the Mary Celeste, and no one's actually engaging with our content. And I certainly felt like this in the beginning of the year, and we kind of shifted a little bit more towards Google and websites and stuff like that, because Facebook wasn't really serving our businesses that well.
Yeah, it does change. Like, people say about the algorithm changes, and again, the algorithm is our clients and our customer base. So what tends to happen is we are one of thousands of accounts people follow. Like, that's just the truth of it. So it will test out different ways of pushing content to people. So yeah, there is no, like, I wish there was some insider knowledge I had. What I would recommend everybody does is follow Missouri. His name is Mosseri on Instagram. He's the head of Instagram. So he does, whenever there's a change, he talks about it. Whether rightly or wrongly, it's a good change for us. It's one of those things. But again, with Instagram, there's something like 30 live versions at one time. So, let me just move that out of the way. So when we're talking about like changes, you might have a change that's just applied to you. I still don't have that change yet. I have customers, clients who are still on a square grid. And I'm like, how are you still on a square grid? So yeah, there is that sort of level of keeping up. What I will say is, even after all the changes I've seen on Instagram, seen on Facebook, the core pillars you have in your business, they will still show you to enough people. Like, I really don't get wrapped up in the latest algorithm change. I go, right, just keep going with showing my face, providing value to my clients, and being really keyed in on my key, my client audience. And that works really, really well. So people rush to the next best thing. They get shiny object syndrome. Like I see it loads with groomers, especially jumping over to TikTok. Now,
Mm.
I really don't recommend TikTok for your business if you're trying to get local clients. I don't. It's a worldwide app. Yes, you can get the views, and yes, that feels good in our brain to have a million views, but it doesn't really help us with our overall problem of finding local clients. So any algorithm changes, any platforms, any big things, just think, keep my core messages the same. Yes, okay, tweak how you give that content. Maybe it's best as a video format, maybe it's best as a carousel. But overall, I'm keeping it so it's really understandable for my audience. And if we think of like the ideal audience we have, if your ideal audience is Brenda, age 60, Brenda's really not going to care about the latest algorithm update. She's just going to care about seeing like regular updates from your Facebook page. So yeah, it's creating content that ultimately gets likes. That's how we combat the algorithm changes.
I see. Yeah, and I'm pleased you've brought up TikTok. I'm I suppose am I of that generation where TikTok's new? That's really quite sad, isn't it? I am on TikTok. I do try and do a bit of TikToking, no silly dances and stuff like that. But I feel the same as you. I look at TikTok and I look at pet groomers on TikTok, and I struggle to understand who they're trying to communicate to. And I did ask my clients this, am I just old and a fuddy duddy, or, you know, when you're on TikTok and you're talking about the struggles in your business, how's that helping your clients, to gain confidence in you? Or are you trying to talk to other pet groomers about your business? And if so, are you not worried about your clients seeing how you're struggling? And I was like, I find it really confusing. And like you said, like, who are you trying to talk to, I suppose?
It's literally that. It's literally that. Who are you trying to talk to? So if I speak to like groomers and their overall goal, yes, is to get more local clients, but they actually want to become ambassadors for grooming, grooming,
Mm,
shampoos, whatever. Then I say absolutely. If you want to start a TikTok account, it's a really good way of showing that you're influencer level, because that's what you're aiming for. If you go for those brand deals and stuff, you inevitably want to become an influencer. Fine. TikTok's great. If you were just jumping on TikTok because everybody else seems to be on TikTok right now, it's not helping. Like I said, all it does is feed our head with, yes, I'm doing really well because I've got millions of views. And I've even brought in like Maria Guilia, the dog grooming nerd. I've had her into my membership to talk about TikTok. And one of the questions I asked her in that masterclass was, if I'm looking to get local clients, is this going to help me? And she said, not really. So
mm.
I've I always try and give things the benefit of the doubt, but with TikTok, I really don't understand the purpose of it to be a place where you just sort of have a little moan, or you try and get clients, then you get really bogged down with it, because TikTok's a lot of work. It's not an easy platform. Like, you have to film, then you have to edit, then you have to add captions, then you have to do a million other things. Oh my goodness, I just want to groom dogs. Like, I don't want to do all these things. So yeah, I think it's knowing who your audience is, and this is where personal branding is really important. You don't see Richard Branson like slagging off his customers, like, you don't see it, but he talks about business lessons. So
Mm.
if you're doing it in a really, really nice way and you're having a conversation and it's open and honest, I welcome that. What I don't welcome is having a platform, because customers inevitably will find out, because the algorithm tries to show local stuff. It shows their dog groomer saying how much they hate Bernie, who comes in twice a month and really hates that dog. So yeah, it's working out what your purpose is on these platforms. If your purpose is to become an influencer, yeah, have a little look at TikTok. If it's not, don't bother. I don't see the point in having extra work for no point.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important lesson, isn't it? And it's something that obviously I had to take note when I was starting my coaching business, because a lot of business coaches will probably go to LinkedIn and hang out in LinkedIn and stuff like that. But obviously, my wife is my kind of target audience because she's a pet groomer herself, and getting to know pet groomers, I just knew that yes, they are on LinkedIn, but they're not active and they're not present on LinkedIn. So I knew that Facebook was my sort of my key platform to target. And then the Facebook groups, I drilled down even more into, like, a Facebook group is where a lot of people hang out. And this is a very important lesson for people to learn, is I understand, like you said, first of all, who their target audience is,
Yeah.
and also work out where they're hanging out as well.
Yeah, like I always encourage, like if you've got Facebook, you may as well have Instagram because you can just cross post. Like I don't think there's any extra work having those two platforms. LinkedIn's a really good example. I was talking to a client the other day about this, and she was like, "But my ideal audience could be everywhere." And I said, "Yeah, they could, but you could waste so much energy on other platforms by trying to find the one person on LinkedIn." I might be completely wrong with this, right? But I can't see a professional going on LinkedIn looking for a dog groomer. I just can't because they go on there to talk about the
Not
lessons
set
they've
up for
learned in
that.
their business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not set up for that, is it? It's
no, it's not. It's a place for professionals to connect. So yes, again, if your sole purpose is to connect with other groomers, go ahead, be my guest, join LinkedIn and have those conversations. But again, it comes down to like the desperation in our head to find clients that we start looking everywhere and anywhere, doing half jobs everywhere, and then going, well, it doesn't work. It's just you burnt yourself out. There is platform fatigue. You can go on too many platforms, and even I have a TikTok account. I don't use it. I watch TikTok videos. I am active on TikTok in that way. But I know that my ideal audience, which is very similar to your ideal audience, they're not going to be hanging around on TikTok looking for me. They're looking at like funny videos or whatever. It's not used for a business sense. So yeah, know your platforms and have a little look around them, get experience, get opinions of other people, talk to the professionals and see what they think. I'm always open for a conversation about the platforms, but I think if you've got Facebook nailed, start there. Like get Facebook 100% where you want it to be, then look at opening yourself to other platforms if you need to. There's more than enough people on Facebook though.
Yeah, and something that will really help people with this is record. No, measure what matters. Record every time you get a new customer. Ask them, where did you find us? Because
Yeah.
we're sort of giving you advice and giving you our opinions and what we find works best for us. But for your business, you need to understand where your customers are finding you, so you know where to put the effort in. You need to write it down somewhere.
Yeah, and it's the same with your content. I say to people all the time, test and tweak. Like, how do you know what content works best for you if you never look at your insights and never like have a little look into these things? And data, as much as I hate data, don't get me wrong, I can't think of anything worse than having a spreadsheet. Like, I'm just not that type of person. But I do make an effort to make sure that I do that when it comes to my analytics. Like, I look at my Facebook and my Instagram analytics because it teaches me what people want to see more of. It's usually something with my face in it, so I know people like seeing that. However, if I'm really not good at reels, for example, I'm really not good at reels and I try them and actually my audience don't resonate with reels, I can just take that off then. I don't need to do that anymore because I looked at my insights. I don't know how people just guess all the time what works for them because that's how we get like really like bogged down with it all is we're just constantly guessing what the answer is.
Yeah, and you got to ask your clients and be interested in how they found you. And we I'm not saying like don't discount other things, but because quite often we ask our clients and they say the sign on the road, but they may have also seen us on Facebook and then seen the website and seen the van, and but the main thing was the sign. So we know that that sign's working for us. But it's measuring what matters and it's understanding where these people are coming from, which really helps you.
Exactly, and I don't know if you're anything like me nowadays, but I'll see like a sign and then I'll jump over to Facebook and then I'll go
Yeah.
check them out on there. So it's really good to have like different things to help with your marketing because not one thing alone can be like solely responsible for your marketing. Like we talked there about having an email list. I think that's so important. These platforms can be taken off you at any point. In fact,
Mm.
3 times a year, my Facebook page gets taken off me. I get impersonation of all things. I get taken down for. So it's for me. If I didn't have my email list, I could be one day absolutely royally screwed. And people who talk to their customers as well on these platforms, or their notes, or their things are on Facebook. Oh my goodness, it fills me with dread. But yeah, you can't I don't think it's fair to put all your eggs in one basket. I think it's a really good idea to put spread across because like you said there, they see a sign, they may then go onto Facebook, they see, you out walking, their friend recommends you. So all these little touch points, like we talk about Facebook's touch points, they really help somebody. So yeah, don't just limit your marketing efforts to one sole place.
I remember, I think it was last year, someone unplugged Facebook for a few hours, and
Yeah.
I reached out to my clients and I said, "I bet everyone's glad they got a website now," because I
Literally,
get,
that's the thing though. They do these big updates. They have to go down from time to time to do these things, and then everybody panics because they can't access anything. That could be your reality 100 days, or 365 days of the year if your Facebook page gets taken down. And I have people then reach out to me. I can't do anything in that situation. Like I think people think I'm like Facebook. I am Facebook, but there's nothing you can do. A lot of the time, that you just have to accept that you've lost that, like, and that's heartbreaking and can be business destroying for some people.
Mm.
So do not go without an email list. You need another way of speaking to people.
I think that something has changed. I've had 3 clients lose their Facebook presence, over the last year, and they're starting to gradually get them back. So something is changing, but I don't know how they I've not gone into the detail how they got it back. How do you feel about, Meta Verified? I've signed up to that because I felt, well, if I was gonna get hacked, it might put the hackers off, or it might help. I know there's a lot of impersonations out there. I mean, I'm not that big yet, but someone might want to impersonate me at some stage. And so I thought, it might help to help with a bit of trust and stuff. And I've done it for our
Yeah.
grooming business as well.
I pay for Meta verification because I know my page gets taken off me 3 times a year. So there's a live chat. You have that with Facebook.
Mm.
The biggest issue, frustration I come across with clients is there's nobody really to speak to. So having that means that I can just message somebody at Meta and they can sort it out. Granted, it takes a while, but it gets sorted out. So I personally think it's worth it because it's that extra level of trust for people. There are pages now that set up and they do, I see this a lot from the breeding side where you get like schnauzers for sale or whatever, and there's a Facebook page and they've got photos they've ripped off the internet, and people are sending these people deposits for
Mm.
puppies and things. So I think it is worth it. It is a considerable amount of money each month, but I think for having that blue tick, it's that extra layer of security for your customers, also yourself, and if the worst did happen, at least you've got half a chance of getting that page back. So yeah, I absolutely think it's worth it, just from that perspective alone.
I kind of think of it in a way like a bit like crime prevention. If you make your house like Fort Knox, the burglar might go next door. So if you've got like Meta Verified, the hacker might go, "Oh no, I'm not touching that. I'm going to go to the
Yeah,
next
but
business."
also on that point, one thing like I see a lot is people are the only admins on their Facebook pages, like the
Mm.
only admin they've got. Like, please, for the love of God, find somebody else you trust to be your second admin. Because if your personal page, for whatever reason, gets taken down, your Facebook page is going with it. So having an admin, you should not be the only admin on your page. And yeah, it is like having that extra layer of protection, making sure you've got two-factor authentication set up. So
Mhm.
you've got that extra layer of security. Yes, these things are a faff. I'm not saying any different, but for the 20 or 30 minutes it takes you to sort it out, get it sorted so you know that when you post on socials or when you have this page, it's not all for nothing when it gets taken down because you can't get it back.
Yeah, and someone like us, we must have been on Facebook for 15. We got like 15 years worth of content and work in there. So
It breaks my heart when I speak to people and they're like, "I've lost everything." It literally does break my heart. So yes, imagine losing that. Imagine losing that. The following you've worked so hard to build, the money, the time, the effort you put into these apps. Don't let it happen to you.
yeah, yeah, it's been a crazy like 50 minutes. I can't believe how
As
quickly
I know.
on. We were going to talk about some exciting news from you as well.
Yeah, I know, I know. Well, people, if you follow me at Pet Business Sport, you can see all my exciting news. It's coming up. I'm doing a little bit of a rebrand. It's going to be, it looks amazing. Kate from Fimbo Studios has done it with me, so yeah, I'm really excited. But give me a follow, and you can keep up with all the craziness.
I am probably the worst person to work with when it comes to a graphic design because they're like, what, I don't know if hopefully Kate's done this with you, like taking on this journey and probed into like what films do you like and what brands do you like, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
No, she's been really good. I did like a package with her that included strategy because I know strategy, but not strategy from a brand perspective.
Mm.
And I've learned so much about myself during that experience. So yeah, it is hard. Like when she spoke to me first, and I was like, I want pink in my logo. She was like, we're not even there yet. We're nowhere near there. So yeah, it's hard, but it's definitely been worth it. So yeah, it is hard, isn't it, when you ask those questions? But having a bigger understanding of your brand, of your business, like having a coach, working with people, there's such great things that you can do for yourself and your business. Somebody trying to do it all themselves, I don't think gets very far. You need the people that you can fall on the back of to work with and help you to achieve what you want to get to.
It's really interesting. I think branding is probably one of the most unspoken about things within business, and it's the one thing that is just completely neglected by so many business owners, and it's so important.
It is, and like Kate always says, and I always think about this when she said the paw print. Like her biggest thing is every single dog person has got some form of paw print in their logo. How do you stand out in a sea of paw prints? But yeah, branding, people literally think is just colours and a logo. It's not. It's what are you based on? What are your values? What are you doing? What is your strategy? Where do you want to get to? So yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like if you can put the investment into branding, it makes such a big difference. That's why brands have these gigantic branding teams. It's for that reason.
Yeah, it's excuse me. I've taken clients through that branding process, and it's reinvigorated them as a business owner. It's given them so much more confidence with their business, charge more money, find better, higher paying customers. It really unlocks so much. So if you're a brand new business owner, or maybe you've been in business for a long time, and you're thinking, what do I do with my business? Or you're just starting your business, start with your branding. Go and revisit your branding and speak to a branding expert. It will be an investment. It will be an investment. It's not it's not a cheap thing to do, but that investment will really pay back for your business.
Totally. It's just having something that nobody else has. Like that's a big thing when we talk about like businesses and branding and things. Like how do you stand out if everybody else has got a paw print? Like honestly, how do you stand out? It's having that confidence, and it does give you a sense of confidence and a sense of purpose after doing it, that you're like, I feel much more like a premium product, premium brand at
Mm.
this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole new podcast that we could talk about, like treating your business as a business and as a proper business. And I often talk about, we look to bigger. We should try and treat ourselves as a bigger business. Does Next take and McDonald's take like bank transfers and stuff like that? There's so much. There's a whole new podcast.
And it's like, for me, my biggest thing is post if you already have 10,000 followers. Like everybody
Yeah.
goes, when I get to 10,000, post now. Use your social media like you're fully booked and you've got 10,000 followers. You attract people so much more. Like you put out to the universe what you want.
Yeah, it's like Robin, our pricing mentor. He asks our clients to go out there and price as though they've got £10,000 in the bank, and it doesn't actually matter whether they say yes or no.
Yeah,
Be
exactly
fearless.
that. Yeah.
He's a fearless business coach.
Yeah.
As we wrap this up, tell us about how you can help pet professionals with your business.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a social media coach. So if you want more one-to-one help, then I'm sort of the person that you might want to speak to. So yeah, so if you want to learn more about me and about the stuff that I do, if you head to my Instagram page or my Facebook, it's Pet Business Support, and I can have a little chat with you. It's primarily coaching I do. The membership is shut; it has a waiting list. I open it periodically just so I can help the people in it. But yeah, you can join the waiting list and you can have my help one-to-one.
Excellent, nice. I'll actually meet you maybe at Greenfest. Do you Greenfest?
I'm not doing Groomfest this year, but Pet Pro Expo.
Pet
Yeah,
Pro Expo. I was going to
yeah.
say we'll catch up then. We could probably have talked for about a whole day.
Goodness, yeah.
So we'll keep this podcast short and sweet, and then maybe we'll get you on for another one. We'll pick another topic and go
Oh,
for
there's loads. Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, sounds good.
Nice to see you again,
Yeah,
Charlotte. Thank you for coming on. Take
yeah.
care.
No worries at all. Bye.
Bye.